family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post Water.
Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, we're at the main event. We are in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we're talking evening show. We have Eric Martinovich and Lisa and Martinovich. Okay. Well, see, I didn't, sometimes I hadn't asked the question, but sometimes those names, even though you're married, go differently. So, anyway, you guys put on a show, Gladius.
Right.
And, of course, Eric, we worked together many years back to Equitana days years ago. But
Good times.
Tell us a little bit about this Gladius show that you're doing here.
So Gladius is a show. It's similar to Cavalia in the sense that it's horses and acrobats, but it's a lot more. Whereas Cavalia is really based on look at the beautiful horses and what the horses can do. We're more of what humans and horses can do together. So it's a little more stunt-like, bigger tricks. I like fire a lot more than I like water, so we do a bunch of fire stuff instead of the water stuff. But it's a lot more of what's the interaction between a human and horse as opposed to what a horse does on its own. And so it's a little more interesting to the people who aren't horse people. And so if you know you're a guy and your wife loves horses and she drags you along to it, you won't be bored. It's a really active, entertaining show.
Well, the nice part of it is you have all of those extra things to look at, you know.
Right.
And with the fire, and I know you have a lot of vaulting and acrobatics involved in it. And the Belgians, you still use Belgians, right?
I'm a big fan of the Belgians. I've always loved them, and we use them for a lot of stuff, and it just makes for a different experience. We do a lot of the Roman riding that I've always done on them, but I have one that I have in there doing flying changes and rears and all, and I don't think we're actually going to do it in this show, but he does caprioles and all kinds of fun stuff. So I use the Belgians in ways that they aren't normally used, and I have a lot of fun with them. But we also have Andalusians and Minis and Norwegian fjord horses and all kinds of. So we have a big variety.
So now, Lisa, your part's in the show. We're going to actually show some footage of this in a little bit here on the TV show, but as we're doing this interview, I have not filmed these shots yet. They're going to be filmed this evening. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
My main act, which is my favorite one, is the vaulting act, where me and Nicole, my fellow vaulter in the show, we do vaulting on one horse each, but they're opposite of a pole apparatus, and we have a girl doing tricks on top of on a pole apparatus in between. So we have like sort of a battle scene going on between the vaulters and the pole artist. And then I finally got to get into the chariot act. So that's also a really cool act that me and Eric were racing chariots.
Oh wow!
Full speed.
And it's rather than just a chariot race, which is kind of a traditional thing. We wanted to make it more of a chariot battle. So we actually have a fight scene where with swords and everything, where we have a couple of stage combat guys with us, and they actually fight they're in the chariots, and we get next to each other and they fight, and they get knocked out of the chariots and they fight, and they jump back in the chariots and fight with us.
And we win.
So there's
and you win.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every time.
It's a little bit more of, think of I don't know if you remember the movie Gladiator, but there's that scene with the chariots and everything.
Right.
So it's a little bit more like that than like a Ben-Hur chariot race type deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of speed and a lot of action, a lot of horses, and a lot of things happening. And it's called Gladius. Now, how do people look it up if they want to check it out on the website and find out where you might be doing this next?
Probably the easiest thing nowadays is Facebook. Gladius the Show, Facebook. We have gladiustheshow.net, not .com. And
but
Google, if you Google it.
You're right, Gladius on Facebook. Gladius
the Show on Facebook.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a lot of clips on YouTube too. So if you look up Gladius the Show on YouTube, there'll be several clips of what we do.
Well, I know you guys do great work, and have for years, and we look forward to the show tonight. And that scenes that we're going to be filming in a bit, you're actually going to see them right now, right here on Speaking of Horses. So, Eric and Lisa, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right,
So
we
good
appreciate
seeing
it.
you again.
Watch this.
American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, we're in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're at the main event held here at Westworld, which hosts a lot of big events here at Westworld. Among them the Arabian Nationals and many other things. But the main event is new here for Memorial Day weekend 2017. One of the things the main event does in all their events across Canada is host a Trainers Challenge. This is no exception. They host a Trainers Challenge here, and it's really a good competition. One of the people competing is right here with me right now. It's Mr. Brendan Clark, and hails from California now, but originally down under, correct?
Yeah, originally from Australia. In 2003, I came to the United States to follow a dream of being a professional bull rider. So, luckily for me, that dream worked out, and I spent a lot of your 10 years on the tour there, and that really gave me an opportunity to kind of also learn a lot about training horses along the way. So it's been an interesting journey.
Well, once you get in, whether it's bull riding or whatever, once you get around the rough stock and the livestock, then you got a lot of things, happening in the program. But it's the love of animals, and if you're a bull rider, you probably ride horses.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of crossover, and I knew that when I grew up in Australia, team roping and calf roping as well. So I was always into horses, but what you learn along the way is there is a huge crossover of people that own horses in the Western lifestyle that are, whether they're bull riding fans or something like that. So that was the biggest thing with me learning a lot about training horses was most of the trainers I got to ride with were actual bull riding fans, and when they found out that I liked, training horses, and when I kind of got into the reining cow horse and the reining, that was a lot of them that knew who I was, so it was actually an easy way into there. So all I had to do was just sit back, listen, and learn, and I was okay.
So, have you been in one of the main event trainer challenges before, or is this the first one?
No, this is the very first one. I have done a colt starting competition before in Australia, and I'm really honoured to be able to get a chance to do this one here, because I know there's a lot of people that would like to be in this position, and actually a good friend of mine, Warwick Schiller, who has taught me a lot about training horses and of course the colt starting, and he was the one that kind of opened the door for me to get in here, and I guess like I said, a lot of people would be wanting this opportunity. So when I did get the opportunity to do it, I just wanted to come and do a good job and be very educational for the people there, and I hope that's what I'm doing.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job. All three trainers are doing a good job. So Trey Young and you and Clayton Edsel, yes, and they're all doing a good job. Of course, the luck of the draw on horses makes a big difference too.
Yeah, it does, and but I'm a big believer in if you do things right, the horse is going to make, it's going to look easy, and that's the thing that I learned early with training horses, that when you watch a professional or people who are really good at what they do, they always make it look very easy. It doesn't matter whether it was like the industry I came from, bull riding, or of course training a rein cow horse or a reining, or of course a dressage horse. The very best at what they do make things look very easy. So you find out pretty quickly it's not always that way, but yeah, it is a little bit of luck of the draw, but it is a competition, but it's not. It's like I said, this is very unique where we just got to do the best we can to educate the people and hope that they can go home with something and learn from what we've done.
Well, and it's also a situation of take the horse from where it is when you get it to however far you can take it, and everybody, depending on the horse, is starting at a different level.
Yeah, absolutely, and again, as a trainer, you learn that because not every horse is the same. They all have a little bit of a mentality. You can look at breeds that are exactly the same mother, same father, and they're completely different. So, it is luck of the draw, and that's where it becomes interesting because, I believe that all three of these colts my program would work behind, and I think they'd be very good. So, it doesn't matter. I guess you've got to believe in your product and what you do. So, we'll see how it goes. It's a long way. We're only on the session 3 right now, so a lot can change.
It can, but we've got 4 different sessions. There were 2 on Friday. There'll be 2 today on Saturday, and then the finals are on Sunday. To be the champion for the main event, Scottsdale, Arizona, 2017 Trainer Challenge. They got a really nice looking buckle and stuff, champion, and that would be nice to have that added to the list. My guest, Brendan Clark, and we want you to stay with us. Watch Brendan in action. We got some highlights of the Trainers Challenge right here on Speaking of Horses. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And I'm going to get myself an Australian clock just for you.
That's right.
All right. Thanks.
So for you guys that were here in the first session, I spent a lot more time asking her to go around. And it took me a long while to get her to come towards me, and today it didn't take very long at all. I haven't used the flag yet on this mare, but I'm going to just start using the flag to make her move her feet. I want you guys to watch. With this, it's the same as every other tool. I want her to be comfortable with it. So I'm not going to force her to do this, but I'm going to put it out here and wait. See, so she's kind of looking at it going, I'm not too sure about that. I'll take it away, put it back. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm building her confidence in knowing, well, it's not too bad. And every time she goes to think, oh, I'm going to go and sniff that, I'm going to take it away. So it builds her inquisitive nature to go, maybe I do want to see that. Come back here, I want to go, come back here, I want to sniff that. So I'll let her a little closer and see she's kind of like looking at it, I'll take it away. Now she's blowing it. Now I might see if I can, there it touched her the first time, take it away. So I don't want to, on all of my tools, it doesn't matter whether it's this flag, the lead rope, my saddle, my spurs, anything. I don't want this horse to ever be scared of my tools. See, she's getting a little worried here. Change. Okay. And what I'm doing right here, she can run backwards all she wants. I'm going to wait till she goes forward. When she goes forward, I'm going to stop using the flag.
Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, and we're here in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're at Westworld. We're at the main event. And it's the first year for the main event here in Arizona. But one of the things they do at all of their shows is a trainer challenge. And we have a good one going on here. And Trey Young is my guest.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, Trey.
Appreciate it.
Trey is one of the 3 trainers. Now, let's talk a little about you. You are from Florida.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, and you're living there now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So tell us a little about your history and how you got into horses.
I got my first horse when I was 2. My dad, he made sure I always had a horse, and he was never really a cowboy, but he always made sure I had a horse and let me ride, and it's what I love to do. And he bought a ranch one time, and he got some cows, and they jumped 4 fences, and we didn't see them for about 3 weeks, and then called a guy to come catch them, and watched him catch them, and when I watched him catch them, I called him, and I started going to his house every day.
There you go. There you go. Well, people forget about it that don't live around Florida. Or people out west who don't want to admit, but there's a lot of horses in Florida.
More horses in Marion County than any county in the United States. More cattle per acre than any state.
Wow. I know there's just a lot of stuff there. And now, you, how long have you been training horses or breaking out horses like this?
I tell you what, man, I rodeoed until I was probably 25, and then I kind of got into starting horses because my dad, he had some mares with some babies and things like that, and I was lucky enough that, Chris Cox was his best friend, and they were partners on horses, and I was able to,
Well, if you got in with Chris, you got in with one of the best.
Yeah, and he's been, I get to go see him a lot, and still, he helps me with a lot of stuff. I called him last night. I needed some help, I said, I need some advice as to, how can I get through this? But I was lucky enough to get a scholarship and get to move in with him,
Well, I'm going to tell you, too, because you had a rough day the first day. But the session that you did this morning, this is Saturday morning, so session 3, actually, for you. went a lot smoother.
Yes, sir.
And you ended on a good note with the horse. And so everything comes around. And we talked about this earlier.
Yes, sir.
Plan out your work and then work that plan. Because if you've decided that's how you want to get there, stick to your guns and you'll get there. And the horse will come to you. Okay? And you're doing a good job. It's going to be exciting. And we have the finals on Sunday, then we do the obstacle course on the lights. Now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Trey, how do they get a hold of you?
3yranch.com. We do clinics. We do all kinds of things. We go out throughout the country. We have couples clinics. We have horsemanship clinics, cow work clinics, roping clinics, all kinds of things like that. We have a place there, bunk houses and whatnot for people to stay. So
great. Okay, right now we're going to show you just a little bit of Trey in action here.
Whenever she went, I kind of tried to get her to stop. Well, it didn't work as well as I wanted it to yesterday. So today, if she starts to try to move those spots when I get her saddled and I start trying to get on her, I'm going to put her to work. Try to make it my idea as opposed to it being hers. I'm just going to rub her with it. And the reason I'm rubbing her with it, guys, because I'm going to bridle her. I have to get around her head to put a halter on her and all this type of stuff. One day she may need a blanket on her, right? So somebody one day may slip it over her head. But I gotta introduce her to it first. Good. Good. And that's fine. She's normal. She's being a normal horse. And I'm just gonna help her here. Oh, she licks her lips. I'm just gonna rub her some right here. Good job, girl. And you can see the difference in this horse and the horse that was in here before. And how I'm having to go at this horse and how Clayton had to go at his horse and how Brendan went at his horse.
Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, we're here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. The main event, it's the first inaugural main event. And one of the things the main event does, as we've told you throughout this show, is a trainer challenge. It's one of their fortes at all their events. They do them in Canada. Well, we have the first one right here in Scottsdale. One of our three trainers is with me right now. Clayton Edsel is here. Now, you live in California, up toward the Bay Area in a way.
Yeah.
How did you get into coming down here to this challenge?
I don't really know. I guess they just asked if I'd be interested
They found
in coming
you.
down.
They found you and brought you down.
Yeah,
right?
they asked if I'd be interested in doing something, and I said yeah, and they let me pick Scottsdale.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So, how's the competition going for you?
I think it's all right. Yeah, I think it's good. It's fun. It's definitely a challenge. The little mare I got's pretty challenging.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
I've been announcing it and watching, so yeah. But, everybody's at different places, but there again, it's how far and how well you do with your horse from point A to point B, not everybody having to get to a certain mark.
Sure.
So it makes it very fair for the horse, and wherever your horse is mentally or whatever in this situation, and you grow from that point to however far you can take the horse in the short period of time. How'd you get started doing this? How'd you get into horses, or have you always had horses in your backyard?
Yeah, I've always had horses. I grew up in Montana.
Okay.
Cattle ranch. My parents run cows. My grandparents have a big ranch in Avon. And so then, as kind of a supplement to the ranching, my parents would take in colts to start and horses to ride, and we'd sell some geldings or some ranch horses. Teams, we used a lot of teams. My grandpa is he's in the Teamsters Hall of Fame for Montana, and so a lot of using horses.
Well, but you got a background in it, and everybody's got a different story how it got there. You just kind of grew up with it.
Yeah, I just didn't have a choice.
Well, it's been a good competition here, and there's three really good trainers, and we've also done the interviews, as you've seen here on the show, with the others, with Trey, and also with Brendan. But Clayton's got that mare's really come around for you in the last couple of sessions.
Yeah, I was really happy with her yesterday, and in the first day she was fairly difficult, and and it's hard because when you're at home, you just take the time you need. But here we gotta kind of keep moving along best we can. So so you get in there, and this is the first one.
So as she goes around here, I'm just gonna put some pressure on her here at this gate and see if she'll find a place to get comfortable out here. She's doing a lot of nice things. She's relaxing and facing up at times. She just has a real hard time getting her feet settled with anything we do. When I saddle her, when I go to get on her, when I catch her, even when I just leave her alone and kind of let her explore a little bit, you see she's real moving with her feet, and so that makes it difficult for me to get her to concentrate. And so I'm gonna just work with her here, and hopefully I can get her to where she'll let me stick a halter.